Johnny Cash, one of the most iconic musicians in history, is not only remembered for his unmistakable deep voice and his songs that talk about love, pain, and the human struggle. He also lived through an event that could be considered a metaphor for his own life, the forest fire, a chapter in his biography that illuminates not only his resilience but also the impact of forest fires on the cultural and environmental landscape. This story is not just about an artist but about the intersection between nature and art, leading us to reflect on the challenges we face in our relationship with the natural world. Johnny Cash's narrative begins in Kingsland, Arkansas, where the talented young man was immersed in a culture deeply rooted in music and tradition. His childhood, marked by financial hardship and the death of his brother Jack, shaped his outlook, leading him to seek solace in music and stories that spoke of pain and redemption. From an early age, Cash was influenced by a diversity of musical styles, including folk, gospel, and country, which permeated his surroundings. The melodies that echoed across the American South were not just entertainment. They were a way of expressing the human experience in its rawest and most honest form. Cash's connection to these musical styles would become the basis for his future compositions, which reflected the struggles and triumphs of everyday life. Nevertheless, a pivotal event, which would become a significant part of its history, occurred in 1967, when a devastating fire consumed the San Juan National Forest in Colorado. This fire, which would become one of the most destructive of the time, not only altered the landscape of Colorado, but also had a direct impact on Cash's life and the way he related to nature in his lyrics. The fire consumed acres of vegetation, transforming a vibrant environment into a charred landscape, and the sound of the flames became a distant echo of the songs Cash was to write. During this period, Cash was on the rise, his fame growing as his songs echoed across America. The fire, which destroyed the forest, symbolized the fight not only for the survival of a habitat, but also for the survival of a voice that was increasingly standing out on the music scene. The connection between the artist and nature became increasingly evident, reflecting the duality of his lyrics that often addressed pain and struggle, as well as hope and renewal. His songs, many of them written in moments of reflection and hardship, became a reflection not only of his experiences, but also of the experiences of many Americans who, like him, faced hardships in their own lives. The tragedy of the fire can be seen as a mirror to Cash's life. Just like the burning trees, his life was filled with challenges that seemed to threaten his very existence. The obstacles he faced, from battling addiction to fighting for recognition in the music industry, can be directly correlated to the devastation the fire brought. However, instead of succumbing to despair, Cash found renewed strength, channeling his experiences into his songs. Lyrics often portrayed not only the struggle of the individual, but also the impact of external events, reflecting a deep connection to nature and the human condition. His songs, such as Ring of Fire, can be interpreted as a representation of the intensity of love and pain, alluding to the way fire transforms the landscape, just as experiences transform human beings. As the fire consumed the forest, the community response was remarkable. Volunteers and firefighters worked tirelessly to control the flames, an effort that could be compared to Cash's own work in his career facing personal battles. Working collectively in response to a crisis evokes a sense of solidarity that Cash knew how to capture in his music. He always had an uncanny ability to transform suffering into art, and this quality resonated deeply with those who listened to him. The fire, therefore, was not just a natural disaster, but a catalyst that allowed Cash and his fans to reflect on the challenges they face, both in nature and in life. The deep intersection between the fight against the flames and Cash's internal struggle became increasingly clear, demonstrating how often external difficulties mirror the internal battles we fight. Throughout his life, Cash dealt with his own struggle with addiction, a theme that permeated his lyrics and became a reflection of the pain he felt inside. His music was always on the brink of catastrophe, and his ability to connect with those who listened spoke to the universality of his experience. Following the fire, the recovery of the forest became a symbol of resilience. As nature recovered, so did Cash. His music has evolved, incorporating new influences and themes, especially those related to the fight for social justice and environmental preservation. In many ways, the forest fire and subsequent recovery served as a reminder that, just as nature can regenerate itself after devastation, humans can also rise again after hardship. This philosophy of renewal and resilience became a cornerstone of the message of Cash, whose life and work continued to inspire generations. Cash's impact goes beyond the music world. He became a voice for the marginalized and those fighting against oppression. In his lyrics, He often addressed themes of social injustice, poverty, and discrimination, echoing the concerns of many who felt invisible in society. The song I Walk the Line, for example, addresses fidelity and commitment, but also reflects an internal struggle for integrity in a world that often seems chaotic and unpredictable. This type of reflection is something that resonates in society, especially in times of crisis like the one many faced after natural disasters such as the forest fire. As we explore the life of Johnny Cash and the impact of the forest fire, we are led to consider forest fires as a broader metaphor for the challenges we face in modern society. Global warming and the increasing incidence of forest fires force us to reflect on how we relate to nature and to each other. Cash's music, which often spoke about the individual's struggle against external forces, takes on a new dimension when applied to today's context. Her voice echoes as a call to action, a reminder that resilience is possible, but that we also need to be aware of how our actions affect the world around us. The forest fire, and by extension, Cash's struggle with his personal demons, challenge us to think about our own struggles. Each of us faces fires in our lives, whether emotional, social, or environmental. How we respond to these challenges can be inspired by the lessons we learn from artists like Cash. It is the ability to face adversity and find a way to express that struggle through art that unites us as human beings. Cash's legacy also reminds us that music is not just a form of entertainment, but a powerful tool for promoting awareness and change. In an era where the environmental crisis becomes increasingly pressing, his songs offer a space for dialogue and reflection on the impact our actions have on the planet. The forest fire, although devastating, reveals the fragility of our natural world and the urgent need for protection and preservation. This call to action is an echo of the messages present in Cash's lyrics, which often address the realities of human struggles. Throughout his career, Cash has never shied away from difficult topics, tackling issues such as poverty, injustice, and loneliness. He had a unique ability to capture the essence of the human experience, transforming pain into poetry. This can be seen in his interpretations of songs that address the human condition, such as Folsom Prison Blues, where he reflects on prison, life and regret, or A Boy Named Sue, which chronicles the experience of a marked man for its peculiar name and the consequences it brought. These songs echoed the internal struggle of many, creating a deep connection with their audience. The forest fire is not just a story of destruction, it is also a narrative of hope and renewal. After the devastation caused by the flames, the forest began to be reborn, with new trees emerging from the charred soil. This cycle of destruction and recovery is reflected in Cash's life, who after periods of hardship and personal battles, always found a way to reinvent himself and come back stronger. His ability to rise again after falling has become a fundamental part of his legacy, an inspiration to all who face their own struggles. It is interesting to note how Cash's relationship with nature was also reflected in his personal life. He was a man who loved the outdoors, often seeking refuge in the mountains and forests. This connection with nature was not just an escape, but a source of inspiration for his compositions. Landscapes and nature experiences frequently feature in his lyrics, becoming a crucial aspect of his personal narrative. The contrast between the beauty of nature and the intensity of human emotions he explored made his songs even more impactful. Fighting forest fires is not an easy battle. Just as Cash had to battle his own demons, modern society faces significant challenges related to the environment. The preservation of forests, awareness of the impact of climate change, and the importance of conservation have become central themes in contemporary discussions. Cash, even if indirectly, reminds us of the responsibility we have towards our world. Art, like nature, offers a space for reflection and dialogue about these pressing topics. Meanwhile, Johnny Cash's legacy lives on. Their songs still resonate, their stories are still told, and their influence continues to inspire new artists and music lovers. In a world where social and environmental challenges seem to multiply, Cash's music offers a light, a voice that speaks of both pain and hope. He challenges us to face the reality of our lives and fight for a better future. Ultimately, the story of Johnny Cash and the forest fire serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of nurturing our planet as we nurture our lives and our passions. The fire that consumed the forest not only destroyed it, but also created space for the new. The same goes for our personal challenges. Instead of seeing adversity as an end, we can choose to see it as an opportunity for renewal and growth. This concept of transformation is one of the most valuable lessons we can take from Cash's life. Thus, the life of Johnny Cash, intertwined with the forest fire narrative, offers us not only a view of a complex and resilient artist, but also a reflection on the ongoing struggle to preserve our natural world and the search for a future more sustainable. Cash's legacy teaches us that despite the flames of adversity that may arise, there is always hope. There is always the possibility of rebirth. And ultimately, what we can learn from his story is that, just like the forest, which regenerates itself after the flames, we too can rise again, stronger and more aware of our interconnectedness with the world around us. Therefore, as we listen to their songs, we are invited to not only reflect on our own lives, but also to consider the impact of our actions on the world we inhabit. Johnny Cash is not just a music icon, he is a resonant voice that connects us to nature, to human struggle, and to the hope of a more harmonious future. In a world where fires still devastate forests and lives, his message of resilience, love, and compassion becomes more relevant than ever. It is a reminder that, like forests, we too have the ability to regenerate, to find beauty in pain, and to transform our experiences into something meaningful and lasting. Johnny Cash's lessons, although rooted in his own struggle, reverberate through generations, inspiring not only musicians but all those faced with adversity. His songs are a testament to the human capacity for transformation and resilience. Just like the forest after a fire, we too can be reborn, always with the hope that the scars we carry can be transformed into beautiful testimonies of our journey. So, as we revisit the life and art of Johnny Cash, we remember the fragility and strength of life, the music that unites us, and above all, the importance of taking care of our planet and ourselves.